Hey friends, this is Christy here in Turkey's Christy with Little Roots Ranch, and today I'm going to talk about interplanting basil with tomatoes. And so there are many reasons to interplant basil specifically with tomatoes. Number one, they're amazing, both of them. Fresh summer tomatoes with leaves of fresh basil and a little balsamic vinegar. Oh, so amazing. But that's not where the benefits end, actually. That's really only the beginning. So basil specifically actually has been shown to make tomatoes taste better when grown in proximity. I don't know the exact science on it, but I'll take it. Basil also works really good as a pest deterrent for mosquitoes, which don't necessarily impact tomatoes, but they impact the gardener. But they also repel, whiteflies, aphids, and hornworms. And not that, I don't think in the Pacific Northwest we really have problems with hornworms, or at least I haven't, but I do know in other areas that's a really big problem. They just grow beautifully together, and so it's one of my favorite pairings. So here I've got some lime basil. Now these guys are looking a little lackluster, a little yellow, because I needed to get them transplanted out sooner or feed them. But life happens, so it'll be okay, but I do need to get them into the ground. So, and I'm actually growing 3 different kinds of basil this year. It's the lime basil, which is my favorite. I can smell it. Smells like a citrusy basil. Oh, it's so good. It's really popular in like cooking and stuff like that. Well, I guess all of them with cooking, but like more of like, I think like Asian type cooking and stuff, like stir fries, and oh, it's so good. I'm also growing the sweet basil, which is the basil that you're familiar with in the stores, and you know they sell them in like the little plants and stuff like that. And then also a cinnamon basil. And I haven't grown that one before, so I'm excited to try that. But today we're starting with lime basil because it's my favorite. I thought I also had another basil that was like a large leaf. It like makes like head size leaf, or like head lettuce size leaves of basil that's great for pesto making. But apparently I didn't, or it ran away. So I don't know, I could have sworn I did. But anyways, so here I've got my tomatoes. In this row are my cherry tomatoes, because I've got my regular indeterminate, my cherries, and then these are my determinates. And I do currently have some radishes and turnips interplanted, but those will be coming out. So this bed will open up a little bit more. But I want to replace it with delicious basil. So I'm going to take my little plug. Watch, it gives me problems now that I've got, I don't know if you can see that. And I'm just going down my row. Basically, I've got my weeding bucket here because there are weeds that pop up, especially the grasses. This greenhouse is just started, so everything's new. So I just put those in there. But about 4 to 6 inch spacing or so, depends of course on your needs and your climate and all that. I go a little bit higher than that, about 6 inches spacing. And these are also multiple sown, just like if you were buying it from like Trader Joe's or whatever. And I'm just gonna put that in there, put the dirt around it, and compress it a little, and voila. Can you, actually, I guess you can't really see that. Let me do one more. So I got my little basil plant. My finger from like how I have it like that is 6 inches, and so that's the really scientific measuring device right here. And so I want actually 8 inches. So that's if my finger is completely out, approximately. And so that's where I put my little hole. I am giving them a little more spacing because the moisture and humidity can get a little higher in the greenhouse than say outside. And so you can see that one kind of. But yeah, so I'm basically just gonna go through, I'll plant all of my lime basils together in one row, and then all of my sweet basils in another row, and my cinnamon basils in yet another one. Like I said, I just realized I've got my first little baby cherry tomato. I don't know if you can, I'll bring the camera over in just 1 second to see it. But yeah, so that's something, if you haven't planted your basil or your tomatoes, I highly recommend it. And I'll show you my very first little cherry tomato. I think you can see, I can't see my, right there. I see all the little flowers and stuff. But yeah, thank you. Oh, sorry, I've got a thing. I had a dog incident where my dog jumped on my ear and like kind of tore it open, literally. So it's been a rough couple days, but now I'm doing a lot better. So I'm just starting to get back out in the garden. But anyways, tomatoes and basil, highly recommend. Thank you for watching and happy gardening. Bye.